Just before the video begins, I want to state that I may sound a little odd. I recently got a massive block put in my mouth to realign my teeth, so I may unfortunately speak with a slight lisp here and there. You may not like it, and believe me, I definitely don't like it. But yeah, just note that if I sound kinda weird, that's why. Now let's get back into the video, shall we? Hello everyone, and welcome to the Indie Crew channel. I'm your host Ghost Waffles, and today we're going to be looking at a strange, yet entertaining little game known as Funky Panic Attack. It was developed and published by indie developer Juice, and was released on July 9th, 2024. You can find it on PC, completely free of charge. With all that said and done, let's get into the review. Funky Panic Attack is a very colourful 3D platformer where you play as Luna, a dreamy girl who, after mentioning the word Halloween in her sleep, goes on a short quest in order to find out what Halloween truly is. Now you can see why I'm uploading this on Halloween. In order to do this, you must travel to the mysterious digital domain, a place known for melting people's minds. You're also accompanied by your rambunctious friend Funky, who will show up throughout the game both in person and on a phone, which can be viewed in the top right corner of the screen. The first thing that caught my eye with this game, aside from its striking visuals, were its inspirations from Joel G's ENA, which have been confirmed by the developer of the game several times. ENA is a series that I'm a big fan of. I've always loved its nonsensical nature and weird yet lovable cast of characters, and as soon as I heard that this game was inspired by ENA, I just knew that I had to at least give it a try. It was free after all, there was no harm in me adding it to my Steam library. The gameplay in Funky Panic Attack is honestly quite basic, as you simply need to platform from point A to point B, collecting fruits known as aquamelons, which unfortunately don't actually do anything. Near the beginning of the game, however, you acquire a shotgun, which allows you to freeze things that are moving, like spinning platforms and certain enemies. The controls function fine. You use WASD to move and the right mouse button to shoot the shotgun. The jumping was a tad floaty, but it never made the game annoying or frustrating. It was a nice kind of floaty. Something that's probably important to mention is that you can press R in order to activate something called Chili Pepper mode. In Chili Pepper mode, you eat a chili pepper, which allows you to become faster, but at the cost that you jump around randomly, so the game becomes much harder to control. A part of me does see how this could be fun to some people, but personally, I never saw a need for this. I only really ever used it when there were long stretches of land to walk across, which is a very rare occurrence. Now, as I've already mentioned, this game is a platformer, and usually the most important things in platformers is the level design. So what's it like in this game? Honestly, the level design was admittedly kind of basic. It wasn't anything too bad per se, but it wasn't anything exactly mind-blowing either. It was just kind of meh. Something that did aid in making the game way cooler though was the aforementioned shotgun. I loved using this item, and I thought it was incorporated into the game very well. As I've already stated, it can be used to freeze things that are in motion, but this goes far beyond simply freezing moving platforms in place. For example, midway through the game, you'll encounter platforms that move forwards and backwards, and they'll have a bright yellow arrow on them to indicate which direction they're going in. Once frozen, you can jump off of these platforms and be launched in whatever direction the arrow is pointing towards, so essentially, you can create your own launch pads. There's also tons of moving enemies which you'll have to freeze to get past them, which added an interesting challenge to the quite frankly bland level layouts. One negative with the shotgun though is that there's no actual cursor for it, so trying to aim it was made a lot more difficult than it had to be. It wasn't anything that made the game bad, but a small little circle in the centre of the screen to indicate what I was aiming at would have been appreciated. You can also use the shotgun to delete these things called Poes. They have the appearance of spherical red cats and show up in the digital domain. You're able to shoot them in order to get rid of them, but this doesn't actually do anything. They don't even move at you to attack you or anything, they just stand still in place. Do note though that walking into them will result in a death. There could have been some actually good placements of these where you had them blocking a path so you had to shoot them, but they were just placed in completely random areas that were off the beaten path, so you never really had a motive to get rid of them unless they were in your way, which was a very rare occurrence. You can also encounter blue sleeping Poes, but instead of shooting these guys, you'll need to walk into them, because shooting them will result in a death. Once again, you just don't really have a motive to go and collect them, so they were kind of just another pointless addition to the game. The difficulty throughout the game actually helped in keeping things more enjoyable. Even though the actual level layouts themselves are pretty basic, the enemy placements and moving platforms help to spice things up a little. During the final bit of the game, the difficulty actually ramped up quite a bit, and I found this part super enjoyable since I thought it did a good job of incorporating everything I'd learned into the level. Unfortunately, however, the game is incredibly short. It only took me a little under half an hour to actually complete the game, and that was without skipping any NPC dialogue and shooting every single Poe. I know the game's free, so I can't really complain too much, but I left the game feeling like it had been unfinished, like there was more that could have been done with its unique mechanics. Throughout the game, you'll encounter a strange yet entertaining cast of characters, ranging from cactus girls to girls made out of bubbles to a flower with a microphone.
And that's not groovy.
Yeah, not groovy at all.
Yeah, not groovy.
Yeah.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
A character that stood out to me in particular was Funky, Luna's main accomplice throughout the game. I just loved her boisterous personality so much, and every single interaction with her had me bursting out laughing just because of the amount of unhinged shit she says. She kinda reminds me of Power from Chainsaw Man in all honesty.
Hey, Funky? What's IQ?
I don't know, but mine is better. I'll eat you if you ever ask me that again.
Also, Luna, the main protagonist who you play as, was also a really lovable character. Not only is she adorable as hell, but she's honestly just a mood at some times.
Hello? You're right. This seems kind of peaceful. Makes you want to cry very loudly. Like, extremely loudly. You have no idea. Oh man.
Additionally, the voice acting in this game is done really damn well. I particularly like the voices for Luna, Funky and Bubbly. Their audio sounded crisp, and I think the voices that were given to them managed to portray their characters tastefully. I specifically love how over the top and dramatic their voices can become without a moment's notice. It really helps in building the nonsensical world that the game takes place in.
Why don't you just play basketball with the bubbles instead?
'Cause they explode, Luna! They explode! Don't you know how bubbles work, Luna? Luna, the bubbles explode!
However, there are 3 unique NPCs in the game that you're able to talk to who all share the same voice actor. The guy who voices them isn't bad by any means, in fact the emotion he puts into them fits with the characters very nicely. It's just that his audio quality is quite obviously not as crisp as all the other characters' audio. This wouldn't usually be a problem, but because he sounds so drastically different compared to the other characters, it kinda just felt like his voice was mismatched, if that makes any sense.
Are you a master of the stealing arts?
Why does absolutely everyone think I'm a criminal today?
I didn't mean that. I love stealing, but I'm so bad at it. You would never understand my pain.
I adore the art style this game has. It manages to link back to its ENA Inspriations really well, while still managing to stand out as its own thing. It kinda has this 3D pixel style, which gives the game a really cool aesthetic. I've always been a sucker for bright, vibrant colours, so it's no wonder that I fell in love with this game's colour palette and its bold, striking visuals. Also, I love the kind of 2.5D aspect it's got going on, where the levels themselves are 3D, but the characters you encounter are presented as 2D pixel sprites, before you get thrown into a short cutscene with each of them. The soundtrack here was pretty good. It's honestly nothing to stand out, and I don't really have a lot to comment on about it, but it did manage to capture the themes of the different levels quite well, while still sounding pretty good. Here's a few examples of my favourites. with all that being said, that brings my review of Funky Panic Attack to an end. I'll be giving this game a review score of 6.5 out of 10. There's a lot of things I do love about this game, ranging from the art style to the characters and to the unique mechanic of a shotgun, but I feel like it has a lot of potential, and its ideas should have been expanded on further and fleshed out more. As I've already stated, the game's ending feels quite abrupt, it feels a tad unfinished. Don't get me wrong though, I would still highly recommend getting this game. It may not be the best thing ever, but I still definitely had a fun time with it, even if that time was incredibly short. Plus, it's free, so it really can't hurt all too much to add to your Steam library. If you're still watching, then thanks, it's truly appreciated. I'd like to give a huge thanks to Sooty for the incredible thumbnail art, and if you're looking for a good place to chill with some friendly indie game enjoyers, or you're looking for a place to receive updates for the channel, then why not join our community Discord server? You can find a link to that in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.